Oh, and we're live with Liberty DeVitto on Game Changers. Hi, Lib.
Hi, Vicki.
All right, so we have the usual every time. Lib, we have like bad luck with this stuff.
Oh, no kidding. This is like silly.
Okay, so the last time, okay, so this is counterintuitive. When you think you have to move left, you actually have to move right. Okay, so now all right.
Wait,
So
I'm gonna go sit down. Hold on.
okay, go sit down because now I'm seeing the reflection in the back before. Okay, wait. That's
How's that?
Wait, keep the dark background. The dark background's better. Go the other way there you go. Your dark background. That's good.
Okay.
It's more contrast for your beautiful face. Wait, don't put the fan. See, the fan is in the top. Move it so the fan's not in it. Everybody, you don't mind doing a tech check with us.
Okay. We did a tech check before.
We did a tech check. Everything was perfect. And then as soon as we decided to go live, we have a problem. And for those of you who weren't with us the last time Lib was with us in New York, we were sitting in my mother's dining room, all set up, ready to go. We'd been talking for an hour, and then as soon as it was time to go live, her internet went out. We had to run into the den and reset everything up. So that's kind of the way it is. All right, so big deal. We're here now. Liberty, I'm so excited for everybody out there who has not yet bought this book. Why not? Life, Billy, and the Pursuit of Happiness. Liberty, Life, Billy, and the Pursuit of Happiness. You are a best-selling author, Liberty DeVitto.
Can you believe it? Can you believe? I can't believe it.
It's fantastic. It's so, you know, and I know about this because I had an Amazon bestseller too, #1, and it's is the most, when you see #1, is that the most exciting thing like ever?
Vicki, this is the first time I've done something on my own. You know, I've been in Billy Joel's band, and the records went to #1, but it was Billy Joel's band.
Right.
This is like me.
Yes.
I wrote this.
You wrote this. It's really, yes, it's you. It's all you. It's everybody loving you. It's so exciting.
It's so intense.
Okay, so let's talk about this process. We're going to come back to other things, but let's talk about the book for a second, because how does a drummer get a book deal? Like, how did this happen for you?
Well, I started writing this book as a memoir of my family. You know, so
and I have to tell you, you have one wacky fucking family.
Yes, I do.
You do. You have a wacky family.
Yeah, I do. My grandmother, I think she stood up maybe for 6 months out of her lifetime.
But, and not because she was sick.
No, not because she was sick.
She was on her back. Yeah,
making children, you know. So I wanted this history for my children to know where their grandparents came from and what my father did in World War II and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Then the bottom fell out with me and Billy, and I started to write about me and Billy, you know. And I was very angry when that was happening, and so it took on a totally different path that it was taking. It was this angry path.
Right.
So I kind of like over the years would put it away, then take it out and write again. And people would say, like, why don't you write a book? Well, you know, you should write a book. You got some great stories. But I was like, nobody wants to read my stories. What do they want to read my stories for? But so I went to some different publishers, and they were like, yeah, it's good, but we want the dirt. You know, we want dirt. Because as I grew.
You hadn't written the dirt the first time around?
I did. I was, there was a lot of people I didn't like the first time around. But I think with age, I kind of mellowed out. And with the help of a life coach, it made me mellow out. And so
I have one of those. Liberty, do me a favor. Go back to where there was dark behind you, because it's hard to see your face with the white background. So I want everybody to see your face. That's better. There's better contrast that way, yeah.
I'm going to lean against this wall right here.
Okay.
And, getting back to the book.
Yeah.
This is why I love your show. It's serious. You know, when we used to make mistakes on stage, people say, well, weren't you embarrassed you made mistakes on stage? Yeah, but then people knew it was live. This is live.
We're live, and yeah. And when you and I get together, it's always mistakes, but that's all right. That's all right. So now I'm looking at the fan behind you. No, you got to move.
Wait. I'm coming down. I'm going down lower.
You need dark background, not white, no white behind you, because then I can't see your face. Go back to the other room where it's dark behind you, just not with the fan in the thing. We're going to set this shot because
Is that better?
I'm looking at you. All right, do that. Do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're looking at my bathroom.
No, I know. I'm looking at your reflection in the mirror. It's fine. So, all right. So you were going around to publisher. So wait. When did you start writing the book? How long ago?
15 years ago. More than that, because I interviewed my parents. I interviewed my aunts. Everybody that was still alive from that generation.
And you really got the dope on your family. Oh my God.
I did.
And, okay, you started a long time ago. Go ahead.
And then I'm writing. And then I would do drum clinics. And I would tell stories of how the songs were put together with Billy. And people were like, you should write a book about this, because nobody knows how songs are put together in the studio.
Right.
So I started to write that stuff down. And I started to write about what happened with me and Billy and, stuff like that. And but as I aged, I think I matured a little bit. And when I finally was reading the book again, it was like I was reading it from an angry point of view.
Right.
And I wasn't angry anymore after years of a life coach.
You have recovery. We'll talk about that later too. You also have recovery. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
So after years of that, mellowing out and everything, and now having my family back, my girls, and after divorces, because I got divorced at the same time as split with Billy. So now I'm not that angry anymore. So I thought, like, you know what? I'm gonna take a different approach at this. I am going to see what it's like to be in Billy's shoes, what he went through as an artist, and I kind of looked at it like, this guy is on the marquee. His name is on the marquee.
Right.
He's got to write an album that has 14 songs on it. He's the only one that's writing. I mean, Elton has Bernie. The Eagles have each other.
Right.
John had Paul. Billy is just Billy.
Right.
So, and he's got to write 14 songs, which 3 or 4 of them have to be top 40 hits. Yeah. So, and he plays piano, he sings. So I'm looking at it like, he is under a lot of pressure.
Right.
All the time. And then he goes home and when he was married to the supermodel, Christy, he was under a lot of pressure then too. So
I bet.
I'm there, the drummer, and I'm getting pissed at him because I want to go on the road in April and in March, and he wants to go out in April. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Let's go out now. And he's like, I can't do this, So I understand why he let some people go, why he changed producers. He had to stay current, change the band sometimes. He had to stay current. Why he got rid of me? He had to try something else, So I kind of got it after that.
At the time, I know this story, but tell everybody the story of how you found out that you were, after 30 years, you were no longer Billy Joel's drummer.
Oh yeah, that was a treat.
Yeah.
Actually, he was getting married to his second wife. Third wife. Sorry.
Still quite a few.
Yeah, and I called the keyboard player, and I said, I guess we're not invited to the wedding. I didn't get an invitation. He said, I got mine, and it was like, something's going on, something's happening. And that's when I started to hear that he was getting ready to go on the road, and I wasn't getting the phone call. So, in this business, you don't get fired. You just are asked not to do the next thing.
So you didn't have the kind of relationship with him that you could just pick up the phone and say, Billy, what the fuck is going on?
Well, that's what I should have done. What I should have done was I should have stood in his driveway and waited till he drove out of the driveway and stopped him. But I didn't do that because my Sicilian temper got the best of me. And I was like, forget him. Forget it. I don't care what he does. I just, frig him. And he's the same way. Like, frig him. Because it was a he said, she said thing. That's why he heard something from somebody that he believed that I did and said. And because he didn't confront me, I never knew what it was. So, yeah. So, I mean, once we finally met and he told me what it was, I said, no, I never did that. I don't know what you're talking about.
And he believed you?
Yes.
Okay, so now the last time I saw you, you and Billy had not reconciled yet. Like when I saw the forward to the book, I was like, okay, we've had new information. This is new information.
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
Well, I wrote him an email after all this. We've been going back and forth in interviews and stuff, like just kind of like not bad mouthing anybody, but just kind of like not being very friendly to each other.
Right.
And so I wrote him and I said, Billy, I think it's time for the piano drum feud to be over. So he immediately wrote me back and said, I felt bad too the way we parted. So I said, let's meet for a meal. We'll meet. I was flying down to Florida where he was living at the time.
Now wait, how many years is this? This is like 15 years later or something?
Oh yeah, this is happening last February.
Okay.
Just February just passed, yeah.
Okay.
So we met for breakfast, and now I knew he had changed because he said to me, I said, let's meet for dinner. I'm flying in on this day, and
right.
I'm getting in at this time. Why don't we meet for dinner? I can make it to the restaurant. Pick a restaurant. I'll meet you there. He said, oh, no, 8 o'clock. I kind of put the girls to sleep because he says young kids now. So I knew that, okay, this is a different guy now.
Yeah.
Because we were the party people for the longest time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we met for breakfast the next day. And we met at a diner, a really like greasy spoon kind of diner. He had eggs and bacon, and I had pancakes, and we just talked about who had died that we were involved with, who's sick, how our older kids are doing, and what it's like being parents, fathers again, at having young children at this elderly age. So it was just one of those conversations. And then he said, why did you want to get together? Kind of a nostalgic thing. And I said,
right.
Yeah. Billy, I said, Billy, we made a lot of great music that people loved. It's really a shame that we weren't talking to each other. So, then, but before we were together for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Then before we parted, we talked about, I said, so what's the future for Billy Joel? And he told me, what he plans on doing with the touring and, it's getting old and all that kind of stuff. And he asked me what I'm doing. And in that conversation, I told him about the bands I play with. And, Lords of 52nd Street, he says he keeps getting great reviews of the band.
Nice.
It's great because it really helps me. You look good, I look good.
Yeah.
So
for anybody who doesn't know, tell them about the Lords of 52nd Street for a second so people...
Okay, Lords of 52nd Street is a band that was put together because myself, Richie Canada, who played the horns on all those great, Still Rock and Roll and Me.
And some keyboard also, right?
What's that?
Didn't Richie also play some keyboard with Billy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the guy. When Richie left the band, it took 2 guys to replace him.
Right.
So there was him and Russell Javers, who played guitar with the original Billy Joel band. So we took the name Lords of 52nd Street, which Phil Ramone gave us on the sleeve of the 52nd Street album when he listed the credits,
Right.
The Lords of 52nd Street. So we got inducted with the late Doug Stegmeyer into the Long Island Music Hall of Fame. Now, I was still angry then, and I did not want to go.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, I sent somebody else to do the sound check because they wanted us to play one song. So, and I showed up late and, everybody was panicking and stuff. Yeah, I was a real diva then.
Were you still drinking then?
What?
Were you still drinking then?
No, I had stopped. But I was still angry at that whole thing.
Yeah.
But I was being helped with my life coach, Allie Berlin, beautiful life coach. She's really helped me through a lot. And so I get there, the band plays, and we do one song. The reaction is unbelievable. And so we ended up playing like 5 songs just from memory of playing with Billy, you know.
Wow.
And so we thought, you know, there's a lot of these tribute bands that are doing this and making a great living at it. We're the real guys. We should be doing it. So as the Lords are playing and we start to go on the road, we're booking dates and everything like that, I'm starting to love the music again. Because all I can think about when I play the songs is what it was like to be in the studio and look, you know, I looked at this guy for 30 years in the eye all the time, live in the studio. So I had the love for the music back, but I didn't have that guy that I looked at all the time.
Right.
And that's what I wanted back. I wanted my friend back. I didn't care if we ever played together again. I just wanted my friend back again because we were so close in the music.
Right.
You know, and I know that he used to say when the managers would be negotiating with the rest of the band, he would say, I don't care what you do with the other guys, but I make sure you take care of Liv, you know, because he always wanted me around. He took me to, when we went to Russia, we went to Tbilisi. He took me there as comic relief because he thought it was funny. There was no drums. But, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fabulous. That's so, but you didn't open your breakfast with, okay, let's get to it, but you did get to it. So how did you segue into that conversation about, okay, let's talk about what happened?
Well, we actually did not talk about what happened then. It was, no, we didn't talk about any bad things from the past. Nothing. It was all good stuff. We laughed, you know, talked about his boat, we talked, you know, and, you know, it was funny because when I first saw him, he said to me, he said, wow, you're so thin. And I said to him, I said, yeah, Billy, it's really good to see you, you know. So we started joking right from the beginning, you know. It's like just like the time that we weren't together just didn't exist anymore. And so it was great. So after the breakfast, that's when I said that I was writing a book. I said, it's not bad. It's a good one. It's my life and the roads that I took to get to where I got.
Right. You
know, if you want to write the forward, it would be my honor if you wrote it. And he goes, I'll write your forward. And then you went, I'll write your forward.
Very Three Stooges. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great, you know, and that's how that happened.
Right.
Now I got him back. And
so how did the conversation about what had happened happen?
We were emailing each other back and forth. And
right.
He wrote it in an email. He goes, this is why I did what I did. Somebody told me something that you did. And I wrote back and said,
you can't say what it is.
Huh?
You can't say what that is that somebody ratted you out on that wasn't true?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Somebody said something to him that I said something about something he did, and I didn't. So.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And he believed you as soon as you said that?
Yeah.
Good.
And you know what? Since that time, our lives are great now. So why even hold, you know, it wasn't true, but even if it was true, why would you still hold this grudge when your life is, you're better now than it was?
Right.
My life is better now than it was.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful in so many ways. So, okay, so let's talk about some of the ways that your life is, but we're going to go back. By the way, before we go further, I used to always spell your name the way it's spelt right here, D-E big V. But on Facebook, your book is little v. And so I've adjusted to that. Now, why would you do little v on Facebook? How is this the proper spelling of your name?
It's big V, yeah.
It's big V. So why on Facebook are you little v?
I have no idea.
Because I've been doing that because I thought maybe you changed the way you spell your name. I don't know.
Vicki, you remember when if you wanted to get in touch with somebody, you had to pick up this big piece of plastic and put it to your ear and then dial, you know, a whole bunch of numbers, you know? Remember that?
Yeah.
I'm still there. I'm still there. You know? Remember when you used to have to get up and turn the channel on TV? Remember that?
You know, we are set. Okay, and speaking of which, on Saturday, Liv's birthday. It's a big birthday. I'm not going to minor big birth, huge big birthday, but is that unfathomable? It's unbelievable that we're at this place in life, isn't it? I mean, it's crazy.
For so many years, I used to tell my parents, "You must have been a mistake on my birth certificate. There's no way I am the age that you're telling me I am. There's no way." You know, I play the drums. You've seen and you know, in Hired Gun when we were playing together, me and Kenny, and it's like we were teenagers. I had some woman come up to me after the show with the Lords.
Yeah.
She said, you know, I go down in front after Angry Young Man, and I just say something to the crowd. She said, "Until you walked down to that microphone, I thought you were some teenager playing drums." Thank you. Thank you very much.
You got to love that. So tell everybody how old your oldest daughter is. 4 daughters, correct?
4, yes.
And how old is the oldest and how old is the youngest?
The oldest is 40. Then that's Devin. Devin is
Okay.
40. Tori is 36. Marielle is 32. And May is 3.
Not 43, not 33, but 3.
3. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, that'll keep you young.
Yeah. Oh, it keeps me young. It keeps me young. They all keep me young because, you know, they're such good girls, all of them. Even the baby is a great, you know, she's great. And the best part about the baby is that I'm seeing everything that I missed with the other ones because we used to make an album and then go on the road. You know, right. It was constantly like that.
Right.
So half the things that this kid does, it was like, oh, wow, that's how you got to that point. You know? Wow.
I think I heard you say to me last time that I used to be a drummer who was a father, and now I'm a father who's a drummer.
Exactly. That's
right?
exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you do have amazing girls. So let's talk about them. Tell me about your daughters. Because I remember last time my daughter was filming us and she was freaking out because she was a big fan of Tori from One Tree Hill. And she was like the nasty nanny or something, right?
Yes, she was the really nasty nanny. And on that show, she ran some guy over and then stuck him with a needle to knock him out, gave him, you know, knocked him out and dragged him away, tied him up, all this kind of crap. But yeah, now she plays a doctor on Chicago Med.
Oh my God.
Which is on NBC. It's those 3 shows together: Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD.
Right, right.
So she's on Chicago Med. They're in their 5th year now.
Okay, so now I assume she's not working right now. Have they gone back to work?
Not yet, no.
Yeah.
They may go back at the end of this month or then October they're talking about.
Right.
It's so freaking weird.
So now is she in LA now?
Right now she's quarantined with her boyfriend in Connecticut.
Okay.
And she has a house. She has an apartment in Chicago because that's where they filmed the show. And she has a house in LA.
Okay. She's done very well. So what was it like for you as a father when your daughter hit the big time, had her first series? That has to be crazy for you.
Well, it's insane watching her on TV. It's like, I can't believe that this is the little girl that was like the little one sitting next to me, you know, like that, you know. But I remember when she first left home, when she was 19 years old, to go to LA to pursue this career of an actress. And what I did was, you know, joking when she was leaving, it's going to be great, blah, 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 playing She's Leaving Home by the Beatles, you know, and laughing and stuff. She left, the car went down the driveway, and I went in her room, laid on her bed, and wept like a baby. And I called my mother, and I said, Mom, my heart is breaking. I can't believe she left. And my mother said on the phone, now you know how I felt when you left on the road, you know, to do that. Because I went with Mitch Ryder when I was 18 years old. Got on a bus and took off.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just empty nested the second one, and it's murder. It's murder. I cry. Yeah, it's murder. It's murder. All right. So the oldest, what is the oldest doing? Because I know all your girls are doing well.
The oldest just got her license, passed the test. She's a registered nurse now in Pennsylvania.
Now, now tell me the truth as a father. How do you feel about that in this time of COVID?
Well, I'm very proud of her.
Yes.
Like when the virus was really at its peak, man, I was worried every day.
Out here, by the way.
Yeah.
In California, it's very bad.
Oh, you guys are back there again. Yeah.
It's bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and it was tough. I mean, she told me stories of people and, all the stuff she had to wear and everything I got to do. Yeah. It's crazy.
But aren't you terrified on a daily basis for her safety?
Yeah, well, she's in the hospital. They know what they're doing. My nephew, who is the same age as my girls, he worked in a hospital. He maintained the boilers in the hospital in Queens that was ground zero for New York City.
Elmhurst, I mean, right? Elmhurst Hospital?
Yes, Elmhurst, yes. And this was before they knew anything about it, really. And
right.
He got it. He got it.
Oh.
But he's young and he's strong. But he was really, really sick for like 2 weeks. But he's fine now,
Thank God.
But now they know so much about it that the healthcare workers know how to protect themselves and know what to do. So
does she have the proper PPE to protect herself? Does she have all the stuff she needs?
Oh yeah. They supply her with everything.
Well, no, but they were running out of things. They were making them rewear masks over and over and over again. And
well, in the Pennsylvania area where she is, they took down. They had a bunch of wards and stuff for the virus victims and stuff like that. It's gotten so less that they closed some of them down.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's my other daughter.
I met your other daughter. She's the makeup artist, right?
It's makeup artist, yes. And you know what she did after that? After you met her, she went on a road with Fleetwood Mac.
I remember you telling me that. How is that? And you used to play with Stevie Nicks. That's great. That's very full circle.
Yes, as a matter of fact, when I played with Stevie Nicks, it was the Wild Heart tour, and she had these little rings that had a heart with the, she gave everybody a ring, and I gave it to my daughter, and she wore it around the neck because it was too big for her, but she loved it, and. She was doing makeup and dressing rooms for Stevie and the tour. Yeah. Wow. Now she's home collecting unemployment like all us other musicians.
Like me, like everybody, right?
It's insane.
It is insane. So that tour was a great experience for her. Did she love it?
Oh, she loved it. She traveled to places that she would have never gone. And she loved it. She saw cousins and relatives around the world and just met a lot of people.
Did she go to Italy?
Huh?
Did she go to Italy?
Yeah, she went to Italy. Yep.
And you still have family there?
Yes.
Those
she
crazy
close to Mike Campbell from Petty's band because he was playing with Fleetwood Mac at the time. Mm-hmm. And she was going to go out with them. He has a new band. And they were supposed to go out on the road, and then the pandemic hit, and that was done, Mm-hmm. So we just sit and wait.
What do you think, Lib? What do you think about, because, all right, tell us about the gig that you had 2 weeks ago when you had to cancel on me because you forgot you had a gig. And I was like, what do you mean you have a gig? We're in the middle of the pandemic. Tell everybody about the gig that you had. I'm not beating you up about it. I think it's fascinating. We're good. Everything happens when
but I feel like such an idiot.
No, everything happens the way it's supposed to.
I write stuff down, but sometimes I put it in the wrong box, and there was so many interviews I was doing for the book.
Right.
I was getting confused. Like, what am I doing now? Where am I going? So I wrote this gig down in a week later than it was supposed to be.
I got
And how I found out was I was looking at Facebook, and the piano player in the band, he wrote something. He held up my book and he said, I would write something about this book, but I'm going to tell Liberty tomorrow when I see him. And I almost wrote like, Dave, it's a week away. What are you talking about? But then I called the manager of the band and I said, when are we playing that gig? He said, tomorrow. It's like, you gotta be kidding me.
Thank God you saw that thing on Facebook. You would have been a no-show.
Oh, but you know what? It was like my wife said, I said, of all the people that I got to tell I can't do it, of all the people. And she goes, well, aren't you friends with her? You're friends with her. What? She'll understand. But it was like, oh, man.
I know you. You're a pro, and I know you don't do that kind of stuff. And it ended up being fun. But you know, it was crazy. After you said you couldn't do it, I got in touch with Pedro Segundo, who was supposed to do it the next week. And I said, look, I already got a gig. Are you available tomorrow? And he goes, yes. And he sends me all the stuff and I do all the promo. And now I put him up there and he's not answering me. He's not answering the next day. Oh, I didn't know you meant tomorrow. And so now it's noon of the day of the show and I've got no guest. And I called my friend Nancy Allen and she was like, I'm in. You know. So Dress to Kill, RoboCop. I mean, it was great. It worked out exactly as it was supposed to, and it was fine. And you're here now. So all right. So let's get to May, your little one.
Yes.
We were talking about May before because it has to be. We're going to get into some COVID stuff. We're known as the COVID crazies, as I was telling you. All the people on the thread here are COVID crazy people. We're like all just information. You know, I have another show 4 days a week, Shooting the Shit with Vicki, where we just talk about COVID and stuff. So it has to be really hard to be a 3-year-old, and it has to be really hard to be a parent of a 3-year-old when you can't do play dates and stuff. So what the hell are you doing? Like, she can't go to pre-K, right? Like middle, what is it called? What is it called? Whatever. Yeah, whatever it's called. It's not called nursery school. It's called, I don't know what it's called anymore. I can't remember. But it's been a while.
They got all new kinds of stuff these days.
Right. So what do you do as a parent, as a kid? What's the day look like for you guys?
Well, she hasn't played with kids since March 15th.
Oh.
Yeah, she's around adults all the time. Luckily, a lot of adults are like kids, you know.
Yeah, but like, how many adults are you around even with?
Well, there's me, my wife, Nana, and my sister-in-law, her boyfriend, and Aunt Donna. That's it.
Okay, so you made these your pod people. These are safe people that you can, because they're living the way you are safely.
Yes. They're in our pod, yes, like you
they're
said.
In your pod. So we were talking about your mother-in-law before. So tell everybody a little bit about why you have to protect your mother-in-law.
My mother-in-law in February, she had cancer in her lungs, but she has this lung disease where she has a hard time breathing sometimes. You know, like if she walks too far or if it gets too humid, has a hard time breathing. So they had to remove the lots of cancer that was in her lung. So she was started radiation after going through the chemo.
Right.
And then the virus hit. After 2 sessions of radiation. So the doctors told my wife outright, they said, if your mother gets this virus, she will surely die.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we couldn't see her. She had to stay in her house. She lives alone in Marine Park, which is about a half hour from here. And we couldn't even see her. We couldn't go see her. Then she finally went to the doctor to get checked up. And the doctor, they said, okay, you can see your family, but you can't make contact with them. So we could go there with the masks on, and she would have to talk through the sliding door.
Right.
So it was months before my wife got to hug her mother while going through all this cancer stuff.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was really, really hard. It's still hard on Nana.
And does she live alone? Does Nana live alone?
Yeah, Nana lives alone. Yeah.
So how does Nana get her groceries and do all of that stuff?
Well, now we when we order Fresh Direct, Anna orders for her mom too, and then we bring it there.
Right.
We were leaving it outside and then Nana has a little bit of a backyard, so we could play in the backyard with May, and Nana would just open the door and grab her groceries and go back in.
Oh.
It's so weird.
But it's really nice that you're able to be together now, because I haven't gotten to that point with my son and with my boyfriend, because we have other people that are going in and out of, that are not making it safe. So yes. I don't have a pod. Pathetic. I was telling you, Liberty, I literally have a body bag, a plastic bag that goes from my head to my toes, so that I can hug my son and my boyfriend.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It really is insane, you know. And here in New York, we had all the those protests, you know, Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And there was one. They were right in front of our apartment.
Ah!
Right in front. There was one that was frightening. It's like the protesters are coming down where we live on Washington Avenue. It's a two-way street. They're blocking all the traffic coming down one way, and the police coming up the other way. And the police have all the gear on, the shields, masks, everything. And you can see them walking towards the protesters who are yelling and all that kind of stuff. And then the big chief comes out, you know, with the one that wears the white shirt.
Right.
And he gets on the bullhorn. And it was right. This is when de Blasio, he had the curfew of 8 o'clock. You had to go be in by 8 o'clock, which was really dumb. So this was after 8. So
why did you think it was dumb? All that looting was going on, Lib. It was crazy. All those stores were getting vandalized. I mean, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah, but people are still coming home from work at 8 o'clock, you know, if they went to work.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy. So the protesters, you know, they want to break the curfew. So the police chief gets on his bullhorn and he says, okay, you are breaking whatever law it was that was implemented by Mayor de Blasio.
Right.
You have 2 choices. I could either arrest you and you can go to jail, or you can go home right now. Do you know they dispersed? It was over. They left.
Wow.
It was so peaceful the way it ended.
Wow.
It looked like it was going to be like Watts, or it's going to be the Chicago riots again.
Well, it was in a lot of places.
It was. It definitely was. Yeah. But I was so frightened looking out the window.
Yeah.
And thinking, like, wow, this is the 60s all over again. Yeah. It's crazy.
It is. I mean, we lived through it the last time, you know, all those race marching for civil rights. I was marching on Washington in 68. The war in Vietnam, civil rights, all of that stuff.
Yeah. I'm way into it, and I'm all for Black Lives Matter. But the way they talk about the police here in New York, you know, not only just defund the police department, but, you know, the cops talk and this, you know, fuck the police, all that kind of shit. It's like now in New York, we had some incident happen here in our building, and they called the cops, and the guy went down to talk at the police station to the police, and he was treated so badly, this guy that was involved in this incident, that he was asked to press charges. And he said, no, there's no way I'm going to do that, because, and a friend of mine said, the cops have had it here. They're done. They are done. You know, I mean, the way my dad was a cop, so I know
I knew we were going there. I was waiting because this empathy, I understand why you have it. Okay, so talk about that.
And I know, I believe that they should be retrained a different way. And my dad was very violent when he came home. It's in the book. He was very violent to me, you know. So they need to be retrained.
Do you think your dad would be? How do you think your dad would feel about the way blacks are treated by police now? Like what happened with George Floyd. How do you think would your dad be in support of that? Would he support his fellow cops in that?
Well, when he was a cop, I mean, there was that blue line. It was deep. He was a cop during the Serpico times. And
oh, wow.
When Serpico ratted them out and said what was going on, he was like, you know, Like he was a fink. Serpico was a fink, because they have this brotherhood. They really do. I mean, he would have felt that George Floyd, what happened was definitely wrong, but he's a cop, so anyway, it was like, I'm all for everybody being equal, but we need a police department. They just need to be retrained. Do something. Do no more chokeholds. No more. When my dad became a cop, most cops back then too. My dad wanted to be a career criminal.
Really? What was his nasty?
He grew up on the same block as the guys from Murder Incorporated. The mafia used to hire Murder Incorporated to, if they wanted to get rid of somebody.
Right.
So when Murder Incorporated would get a call to do minor jobs, like get money from somebody or, stuff like that, they would send my father and his friends, to beat people up.
God.
It's all in the book.
Yes, it is. You have a wacky family.
Yeah, wacky family. Yes. So, so he became a cop because my mother got pregnant before they were married. There's the book. Yes, that's it. So he became a cop. But back then, you didn't need a college education and stuff like that. And it was guys from the street that were police. I know my father would talk to guys that could potentially be arrested, but he would talk to them and say, "Look, what are you doing? Stop it. You're going to get in trouble," and let them, go.
That's good.
And stuff like that. But now they're supposedly highly educated, and if you're somebody that has like a violent streak in them, where are you going to go? If you're not going to join the army, or if you come out of the army and you've had this violent streak and you become a cop, you think it's going to go away? No, it's not going to go away. Mm-hmm. So these guys have to be broken down and be trained a totally different way. Mm-hmm. But we need a police department. Mm-hmm. Because if I was a criminal right now, I'd be sitting pretty going like, "Oh, this is cool. You don't want cops anymore? Great. Good for me."
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a hard thing to be in.
It is a hard thing. And my daughter, who when I was her age was protesting, was going down to she lives in Brooklyn, and she was volunteering to help people get snacks and stuff. She was on the sidelines, but she was in the middle of that whole thing. It's all crazy making. Are your daughters all being safe? Are they staying home and being safe?
Oh yeah, they're all like quarantining, and yes, yeah. One, the one's in LA. She stays home. She's got a little apartment with a garden in the backyard.
Nice.
All with the masks. I mean, New York is doing pretty good.
It is doing well.
We all wear our masks.
We've been talking about that a lot because I live in a sleepy little town outside of LA, and they don't wear masks. They walk around the neighborhood. They don't wear masks. How is it in your neighborhood? Are people wearing masks?
Yes. Yeah, they wear masks. And the restaurants, we didn't open. We didn't open up yet.
Right.
The restaurants can serve outside.
Right.
They set up tables. It's almost like Europe now. You drive down the road, and the restaurants have these tables like out where you would normally park a car on the street.
Right.
They have tables there.
Somebody just sent me, Joanne Milazzo just sent me a picture of Bleecker Street, where I used to run the Rock and Roll Cafe, and it looks like Italy. Everything is in the street.
Yeah.
With flowers.
It's pretty cool.
So all right. So before we get off the family stuff, let's talk about May again for a second, because we were talking before the show, and I was asking you if she's showing any musical leaning these days. So tell everybody about May and her music.
May, I thought I was a big Beatle fan. Mm-hmm. May is a super Beatle fan.
That's
she
unbelievable.
Loves the Beatles. I had to give her all the Beatle magazines that I had stashed away, and she's in her crib in the morning. Excuse me. And her mother gets up, when she wakes up, she yells for her mom, "Mama, mama," you know, and mom goes in there and gives her stuff to read. And I said, "Well, she's reading." "Oh, she's reading the Beatle magazines." And you know, it's frightening. There's this one picture in the magazine of Paul McCartney diving off a diving board in a bathing suit. She loves that picture.
Wait, why? Why?
I don't know. She loves Paul McCartney. Her second favorite, well, they flip-flop. Paul McCartney and George Harrison.
Well, I kind of did that too.
Yeah.
But you said like she'll act it out and she'll like use a British accent and stuff?
She knows all the words to the songs, all the Beatles songs. And she'll have the two, you know, her little magnets that she'll talk to him. "Hey, Paul, where you going, man? I'm going to Wings. I'm quitting the band. I'm going to Wings."
Their history. That's hysterical.
It really is funny. It really is funny. I'll tell her, I'll say, because I taught her this, you know, I'll say, "Tell Aunt Elizabeth, if we were in England, how would the Beatles say raspberry?" And she goes, "Raspberry."
How does she know that? How does she know that?
She just knows. You know what I think too? The Beatles, when they sing, they pronounce every word that you can understand everything.
That's true.
Sing. So she's really learning how to talk from listening to those records.
Wow.
It's not like, you know, a lot of records used to have to, what did he say? What's it?
Every Rolling Stone song. Who knows the words to the Rolling Stones? Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the Beatles, you know, it's totally different. And I'm just waiting for her to ask for what does ooh, she done me. Nobody done me like she did. I'm waiting for her to ask me what that means. You know, we try to avoid Bungalow Bill. What did you kill? We try to avoid that.
Okay, so does she ask? Does she ask stuff? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Oh, in the beginning, when she first started listening to the Beatles, one of the first questions she asked was, "What does it mean, Dad? Here I stand, head in hand, showing my face to the wall. Why is he doing that?"
Wow.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's a hard one to explain too. That's a lot of stuff right there. That's pretty grown up.
Yeah, but I have an answer. Go ask your mother.
Some things never change. So she knows her dad is a drummer.
Yes.
You don't have a kit in the apartment, I assume.
No.
So has she seen you play like live?
She's come to a sound check.
Okay.
She had fun playing the drums. She likes to bang on the drums. And she walked around to each musician and they played for her. And she was fascinated.
Oh. So now is she playing anything? Is she banging a drum or?
Well,
now I'm catching it, huh?
Yeah. Dave Wish, you know, the founder of Little Kids Rock, he came up with this little drum set and he sent May one. And she bangs on it every now and then. And I have a set at my mother-in-law's house. And
I want to give you a Ricola.
Yeah, right. And she'll come down the basement and bang on those drums, you know. But her sister Tori bought her a violin.
Okay, now is this a real violin?
It's a real violin, but it's really tiny for her hands. And she'll put on a Beatle record, and she'll play the melody to it, you know, like she'll play "She Loves You, yeah, yeah, yeah," da, 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 da. You know, not using any notes, but just doing the bow, you know.
And she has good timing.
She what?
She gets the beat. She catches the beat.
Oh yeah, she's got the timing down.
She would be your daughter. That would make sense.
Yeah, it's really something to watch.
Oh my God, that's too funny. So, all right, so let's go back to we never talked about what the gig actually was that you were doing 2 weeks ago that you couldn't do this show. Tell everybody about the gig you did.
Oh
because this is like a whole new wave of how people are going to hear music now.
Yeah. Listen to me. People are dying to go out.
Oh my God.
Dying to go out. They're dying for live music. and they're trying to come up with ways to do it.
Okay. So how did you do it?
Well, we did this parking lot gig at this mall, a shopping mall. You know, shopping malls have huge parking lots.
Right.
So they set up the stage. They set up the sound PA and cameras and everything like that, like it's a real regular show. But people come and park their cars in the little spots. You know, so there's social distancing. You sit in the car, and on some of the dates, you can listen to the band on the radio. You can tune in the radio, or you get out of the car, you sit on the hood of your car, and you watch the band. You know, we're going to do another one at the end of August up in Connecticut somewhere. This is the laws of 52nd Street to do these, and it's a drive-in show. So you know,
there's a lot of those. Okay, so you go to so they socially distance the cars.
Yes. It's just like going to the drive-in. You know, how close were you to the guy next to you when you went to a drive-in?
No, in the old days in the drive-in, you were pretty close to the guy next to you.
Well, you share the booth. You share that stupid thing.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. But this is good because now you can get out of your car, sit on the hood, and listen to the band.
And so like crazy appreciative because it was the first time they were seeing live music and this whole thing?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It really was.
Was it as a
I'm taking you in my bathroom. I'm going to have a drink of water.
You need to have a drink of water. And I know Cindy Beagle is now backing up from the screen every time you cough, afraid she's going to catch something.
Okay, we're back.
So, as a musician playing that way to people that are spread like way out and so far away, does it feel weird or is it okay?
Well, the hard part is that you can't really hear the applause. You see their hands moving, but you can't hear the applause. That's what makes it weird. So you have to learn to play to each other, to each guy in the band. That's what we do with Billy when we were an opening act. We knew that people didn't want to hear us. They wanted the main act. We used to open for the Beach Boys. And it was like, you know, we had no billing. And the house lights would go out, and then a spotlight comes on, and it's us. And you'd hear the crowd go, you know. But we played to each other. Like, okay, let's kill this one. Watch this. Watch what I do here, you know? And that's what you have to do now.
It's so crazy to think that at one time, Billy Joel had people going, oh, when he came to the stage. I mean, that's like crazy to imagine that, you know, you think about 10 years later or 5 years later, they went, oh my God, that was Billy Joel, you know? So, but did you guys win people? Did you win the audience over before or were they just not listening to you?
No, they were listening. They were very happy that we were there and we were playing. You know, I don't know if they were happy that we were playing. Right. Or they were happy that they were just out of their house.
Okay, let's go back how this all started. So I know Mitch Ryder was your first real gig, but before you really didn't start playing like that early. I think you were like 12 or something when you started playing, right? Why did you start playing the drums, Lip?
Well, I asked my father later in my career. I said, "Why did you give me the drums?" I always loved music. I used to buy records, cut lawns, and go buy records with the money I made.
Okay, so wait, who were your musical heroes when you were a little kid? What records were you buying?
The first record I ever bought was a song called "The Book of Love" by the Monotones. That was the first record I ever bought, and I loved the Four Seasons. I loved Dion. Was like favorites. You know, the Orlons, stuff like that. Then early R&B, like Aretha Franklin and Eddie Floyd and Wilson Pickett. So all that was my favorite. You
know, and you didn't play any instrument when you were little. You weren't playing anything.
No, nothing when I was little. I think I tried the flutophone in school.
but so your parents weren't musical?
No, my mother used to love to dance. She loved music. She used to cut school to go see Frank Sinatra. But my mother always said he was a square. He was just a square. You know, he didn't know anything. He used to sing this song like two little fishes and a mommy fishy too. You know, that kind of stuff.
Boop boop did a dad.
Yeah, that one. That was probably the only song he knew. You know. But
Yeah.
my mom knew everything, you know, and she loved the fact when I started playing drums. But I asked my dad later on in my career, like, why did you give me the drums? Because I loved music, but I never said I want to play drums, you know.
Huh?
And he said, because they didn't make Prozac when you were a kid. So.
Were you like a tough kid? Were you like an angry kid?
I guess I was wild. Yeah. Well, me and Eleanor, my friend, when I was 4 or 5 years old, we got in trouble because we took golf clubs and broke a whole case of empty soda bottles in somebody's garage. You know?
So you were like a hoodlum.
Yeah, I guess at 5 years old, I was a hoodlum.
Oh my God. So, all right. So at 12, you start playing music. I'm sure you don't start using, what age are you starting to drink and drug and stuff?
Started to do what?
Drink and drug. When did that come into your life?
Oh, drink and drug. That came late. I was a late starter to that. I would say I was probably, at least 18, 19.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I was drinking when I played with Mitch.
What? Okay, so let's. How did you get? So you start playing drums. Do you take lessons? Are you trained? I know the answer, but I'm asking anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm self-taught.
Self-taught. And you don't read
music. Records. Yeah.
And you don't read music, correct?
I don't read music. Don't write music. Nope.
Okay. So when you're 12, are the Beatles there yet? When did the Beatles happen for you?
Beatles don't happen until I'm 13.
Okay.
Beatles aren't happening yet. No.
So when
I'm watching my parents dance with their friends, drinking at parties in our living room.
Right.
You know, we lived in a split level, and you walk up a flight of stairs, and the bedrooms are upstairs, and there's a hallway that you could see down to the living room.
Right.
And I used to sit there in my pajamas and watch them dance to this, you know, Chubby Checker. The Twist was the big record then.
Right.
You know, so I used to watch that, and they would get blottoed, these people, you know, like bombed. You know,
well,
my father didn't drink.
Were either of your parents alcoholics?
What?
Were either of your parents alcoholics?
No.
No.
No, my father didn't drink. He always said it made men weak. That's why he didn't drink. Yeah. So, no, this was something I picked up on my own.
And no alcoholism, like in the extended family, like going back generations or anything. Not alcoholism in your family.
Not until later years. My Uncle Freddie was bad. Yeah, he was bad. But yeah, it wasn't until I got with Richie Super.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's when we started drinking. You know, Jack Daniels. It was when the days of Creedence Clearwater and the band and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of pot and stuff, and and then it just escalated from there.
All right. So
and one of the reasons I got the gig with Billy was because before I auditioned for Billy and played anything for him, I had known him from playing on Long Island. He was in a different band, but I used to hang out with his tour manager, and we used to get like crazy drunk, and that's actually how I got in the band. He was always saying like, "We got to get you in the band, man. You're great to hang out with."
So you didn't get in for your drumming; you got in for your partying.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I know Billy was a good partier, and I know my old friend Tommy Burns knew how to party. So I know there was a lot of that going on for you guys.
Man. There was one time in Germany. It was Billy's birthday party. We got so hammered. We destroyed Billy's cake. We were in a club somewhere. I don't even know where we were. And this guy walked in with like, he must have had 50 roses. He was trying to sell like to the couples and stuff like that.
Right.
I told the promoter, I said, buy all these roses. And he gave him all the money. I took all the roses and beat Billy and sang happy birthday to him while beating him with the roses. And then we destroyed the cake. We were throwing it at each other. And the whipped cream was all over everybody. And every time you went into the bathroom, you slipped and fell right on your ass. It was
Oh my God. I'm going to talk about some more fun stories. Let's go back though. So you're a kid, you're teaching yourself, you're 12, 13, the Beatles happened. Did the Beatles impact you as a kid, as a 13-year-old drummer? Is Ringo like, what's Ringo for you?
Oh, Ringo, man. Let me tell you something. When I was in the 6th grade, I was told by a teacher that I would never do anything with the drums because I couldn't play the buzz roll in the Star Spangled Banner. So I kind of got discouraged because this was the set my parents bought me, and because no Prozac. And so now I'm not playing, I'm like, what am I going to do? I forget about it. But then when I get into junior high school, it's like, okay, there's these other human beings walking around and they're called girls and I'd like to meet them. But I didn't play sports. So when the Beatles came on the Ed Sullivan Show, it was like, whoa, that's what I want to do. Forget the buzz roll. I want to do that. I want to be in a band with my friends, and I want to tour around the world and make girls scream,
But isn't that amazing? You manifested what you wanted. You made it happen.
Yeah,
you did.
I did. That bit of luck,
Well, it's luck. What is luck? It's opportunity meets perseverance, and you did all of those things. So, okay, and you worked very hard. You had to work very hard at your craft to get as good as you did. That didn't happen without a lot of hours put in. There's just no way.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the book is about my life, how I got to play, how these immigrants came over from Italy, and 2 generations later, one of their offspring is playing with one of the biggest solo artists in the world. So it's all the roads that I took to get to where I am today. Rodney Dangerfield has the greatest line when he says, "You know how many women I had to sleep with to get to where I am today." But it wasn't like that. No, yeah. Some of the roads were very dark, and I'm very fortunate that I was able to get out, to get off that road. Like other people didn't make it, like Doug Stegmeyer didn't make it off the road.
Can you give us an example of a story of a dark road that you got out of?
Oh yeah, drugs are most of them. There's a story in the book about me doing acid. I was in a band in Baltimore doing acid, and I tripped for a week. I didn't know who I was. I had no idea. I had friends that had lost their mind. They just totally flipped out in the 60s, And I was fortunate enough that my father always said that he would kill me if I ever did drugs, and he knew there was something wrong. We sat and talked about it. And then I told him, I said, I did acid and I'm still tripping. I'm still high. I can't, I said, "Are you going to kill me?" He said, "I just lost my mother. I don't want to lose my son," and, things like that, booze. I had a car accident that I totally broke almost every bone in my face, Yeah. So all those, and to be in recovery now, it's great. I wouldn't be able to do what I do now if I wasn't, sober.
So how did that happen for you? Did you bottom out? What was your bottom with it?
Well, love saved me. My wife Anna, when I met her, she was 27.
I was going to say just a few years younger.
Yeah, I was 52 and she was 27. Hence why we have a young baby.
There you go.
Yeah, see, it all adds up.
Yeah.
So we were partying. I was partying with her friends. I could keep up with them, but I was getting to the point where at the end of the night I'd be throwing up on my shoes. So one morning I woke up and she looked at me and she said, "Okay, you're going to make a choice right now. It's either me or you continue to drink." And I said, "When do you want me to stop?" And she said, "Now would be nice. I haven't touched, with the help of my life coach, I haven't touched anything."
That's pretty miraculous, though, because they say that you can't quit for somebody else. You have to quit for yourself. Yeah. But I guess you really were quitting for yourself because you were in love and you didn't want to lose her.
Exactly.
but it's all. So you didn't go to. You didn't go. I don't know. I don't break tradition. But you didn't go to the program to get to quit.
No,
And
I didn't go to the
you
program.
still don't do meetings. You don't do program meetings.
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
My life coach is, she believes. I said, can somebody stop drinking without going to AA and stuff? And she says, AA is good, but not everybody is comfortable in AA. But you need to have someone like a life coach or somebody that you talk to and talk about what's going on with you. You need to have that. You
How
can't
did you
just stop.
start with?
Like, I'm never
How did you
drinking again.
start with a life coach? What brought you to a life coach, and how long ago was that?
Well, Allie, her name is Allie Berlin. She lives out there in California too, but Northern California. And she was the mediator at our wedding. She did our wedding for us. That's how we met her, through our accountant. And when I was having problems, like I couldn't sleep with thinking of the Billy thing and all kinds of stuff like that, my wife said, Allie is a life coach. You should talk to her. So I started to talk to her, and I realized how much rage I had in me because of what my dad had done to me when I was younger, and what like, it really wasn't Billy that I was mad at. It was more like my dad made me that person that I got mad at Billy. So she talked me through a lot of that stuff, and there was times like I would be in such bad shape. I remember one night walking out of this apartment. It was the coldest night in the winter, coldest. And I was walking and thinking to myself, do you know how many bars there are between here and the next block that I could stop in and go for it? And all I could think about was my life coach, and thinking, like, if I call her and say, just tell me, don't, and just I always wanted to wear a bracelet like that said, what would Allie do?
And so you've been with her all this time? She's still your life coach?
Yeah. Mine and my wife's. She's both our life coaches. Yeah.
I have a life coach. I spoke to him yesterday, Jeremy Stevens. I believe in all that stuff. I believe in it all. I do it all. I go to meetings, and I have a life coach and a therapist, and I need a lot of help. But I respect.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. We all do, especially now. One of my buddies, I won't mention his name or anything like that, but has a recovery place, and he does all the music.
He was going to join us today and surprise you, but there's a little illness in his family, so he couldn't come today. But he was going to jump on and surprise you. Yeah.
So what I know,
because he's out of the closet about his recovery. Totally.
Yeah.
Clean getaway and everything. You guys do all that stuff.
Yeah, we do.
You do. Yeah. So you have all these other factions. All right, but before we get into all the recovery stuff, let's get back to your early career. How did you get with Mitch Ryder? How did you go from being a little kid playing the drums to going on the road with Mitch Ryder?
I had played. I was jamming. I had met the Vanilla Fudge. Peace and them, all those guys.
I actually filmed you doing a double drum thing with Carmine at NAMM about 12 years ago. You were doing drums with your hero, yeah. And I don't want to say that you were kicking his ass, but you were kicking his ass.
Well, I started to jam with Vinnie Martell, the guitar player in the Fudge. And we were jamming at this place called Breakout Management. And the Detroit Wheels, Mitch had split from the Detroit Wheels. The Detroit Wheels came to New York. Johnny B was leaving the band, the drummer, and they were looking for a new drummer. And they stopped at Breakout Management to ask if they knew any drummers. And somebody up front said, there's a kid in the back that jams with Vinny. It's pretty good. So my first gig was with them, with the Detroit Wheels. But one of the guitar player turned out to be a heroin addict, and so it really didn't go anywhere. I ended up in Detroit, staying at Rusty Day's house. He was the singer in the Wheels, And I flew back home. And Rusty, when the Detroit Wheels came to audition me at my parents' house, they didn't leave for about a week. You know, they slept in the basement and everything like that. Yeah. So my parents became fond of Rusty. Rusty was a great guy, a lot of fun, you know, really cool. And so I'm home, and Rusty gets a gig with Carmine in Cactus. He becomes the lead singer.
Cactus. Oh, that was a great band.
He becomes the lead singer in Cactus.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes to my house every now and then and has dinner with me and my parents. And one night he says, look, I'm going on the road, but I'm going to find you a gig. I want you to practice all the time because I don't want you to embarrass me when you go for the audition. So not long after that, I get a phone call. Now I'm just 18. I just graduated school in June. Now it's November. I get a phone call. It's Mitch Ryder's tour manager. And he says, we got your number from Rusty Day. He says, you're pretty good. We need a drummer. I said, when? He said, tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, because the drummer that they had, Johnny Siomis, got sick. Now, Johnny Siomis went on to do Frampton Comes Alive. Mm. You know, so I played with Mitch for like 6 to 8 weeks up and down the East Coast. You know, it was a great experience. It was a great learning experience to learn from a Detroit rocker.
God. Uh-huh.
You know, it was great. And unfortunately, Rusty, it's sad to say, but he was killed in a drug related thing, and his son too. Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So you're playing with Mitch, and then I believe I know the Billy story. You're playing in a club, and he was playing in a club, and how did that happen?
Well, that's how we first met. But we met just like to say hello. You know,
okay.
It was a place called the My House in Plainview. Mm-hmm. And he was in Hassels. I was in a band called the New Rock Workshop. We both played on the same bill. And but I admired him. I thought he was really good. You know, he was Billy Joe at the time.
And what was he do? Was he doing the singer-songwriter thing? What was he doing back then?
All cover tunes. They were doing all cover tunes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all cover tunes. My band did cover tunes. They did cover tunes. We were in the psychedelic thing. Everybody's trying to be like the Vanilla Fudge at the time.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So when he came to New York and he was looking for a new drummer, you know, he wanted a New York style drummer. Doug Stegmeyer, who I was working with in the band called Topper, said, mm-hmm. You know the guy, Billy. You've met him before. And that's how that whole thing built into like me getting the audition. And everything was cool. And it was really weird because it was really cool because after the Mitch Ryder thing, he was my calling card. Because when I got with Super before I was with Billy, mm-hmm. they would always ask, so who did you play with? Oh, well, I played with, my band, the New Rock Workshop. Oh, yeah, cool. I jammed with Vinnie Martell. Oh, yeah, cool. I was on the road with Mitch Ryder. What, really? You were on the road? You know, that was like eye-opening, you know?
Right.
So he was my calling card. And it's funny because a couple of years ago, I was in a house band at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
A bunch of other guys. Will Lee was in the band, and Jeff Carlisi from 30 Day Special. Ricky Byrd was in that band, and it was a great band. Rob Arthur. Anyway, Mitch was one of the guys that we played with. So so we're at sound check with checking with other people, and Mitch has to take a bus from the hotel to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and my wife. It's only my wife and him on the bus. So Anna gets up and introduces herself to Mitch and says, hi, Mitch, I'm Liberty's wife. And Mitch says, he learned everything from me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's hysterical. So you get the gig. So what was the audition process like for Billy? Was it excruciating, or did you get it fast, or how did that go?
Oh, no, it went really fast. I mean, really fast because of I was hanging out with the right guy,
Right.
The tour manager, and I could hold my liquor.
So, do you have any like favorite story? All right, you played with Billy for 30 years.
Yes.
There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of gigs. There's a lot of recording. There's a lot of songs. I know that you were instrumental in influencing at least one song, completely transforming it. Sort of. Can you tell us about that?
Oh yeah, Only the Good Die Young.
Mm-hmm. Which happens to be my favorite song of Billy.
He wrote it as a reggae song. And
why are you in such a dark place all of a sudden? You're like very dark now. Where did you go? You're like walking. What are you doing?
I was sitting on the bed.
Yeah, no, that's not good. It's too dark.
All right, I'm back in the light.
Go back to the light, Carolyn.
You're a sick person.
Okay, there you go. That's much better.
All right, I'm back at the light.
Okay.
Yeah, Only the Good Die Young. We were in Knoxville, Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and me and the guy that I used to party with got me in the band. We ran away and joined the circus. We had 2 days off. The circus was in town too, Ringling Brothers. We got on the train. We did everything.
I was on that train. That is the most fun thing in the world. I was on that train in New York when they were yes.
It's crazy when it's stressful.
It's crazy. It was so fun. They're crazy, those people, those circus people. They know how to party.
The little guy, the little clown, he got the most,
Yeah, it was wild.
It was insane. Anyway, so I come back, and Richie Cannata comes running down the hallway and goes, "Wait, you got to hear the song that Billy wrote. You got to hear the song." And he played it on the guitar as a reggae song, and it was about
like you said, I can't even imagine what that would sound like.
It had the come up, don't let me wait, don't let you stop much too late, like that kind of thing. Only the good die, do 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 do. It was like,
wow.
So, first of all, he's like saying that Catholic girls are wrong and there's no heaven, and I grew up Catholic. My first thing was like, oh, Billy, you can't. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Anyway, we get into the studio and we're trying it reggae.
Right.
I finally look at him and I go, look, the closest you ever been to Jamaica is the Jamaica train station on the Long Island Railroad where you change trains. This is terrible. It's terrible. And I started to do the swing thing, with the brushes, and it kind of took off from there.
I mean, to me, it's one of the greatest rock and roll songs that there is. It just, I mean, it's. I can't even imagine if it wouldn't have been a rockin' song. I don't think it would have been the hit that it was. That's for sure.
And you know what? It was starting to fall off the charts when it came out. Nobody was like, people liked it, but they weren't like.
Really?
Until the Catholic diocese banned it and said you can't. And then kids, you tell a teenager you can't listen to something. Really? You got to be kidding me.
That's hysterical. That's hysterical. So tell us, like, what was it like? This kid from. Did you grow up in Brooklyn? You didn't grow up in Brooklyn. You grew up on Long Island. Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up on Long Island.
Long Island. That's what I thought. So what's like the first huge gig you play? Huge.
Huge?
Yeah.
Let's see. The first huge gig I played was after Woodstock. There was a thing called Pound Ridge in Connecticut.
Uh-huh.
But it was kind of shut down because of the reputation of Woodstock. But there was still like thousands and thousands of people there. And I was with Richie Super at the time.
Uh-huh.
And we went with the intention of playing. But they cut off all the electricity. But the great thing is that they used Mr. Softy trucks to power the amplifiers and everything. The crowd was huge, huge.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so now though, when you're with Billy and you're with like a megastar,
yeah.
What's the first? Is it Wembley? Is it the Garden? What's your first big Billy gig? Yeah, like, what's the first big gig you guys do?
What do you mean, getting out of the theaters and clubs?
Yeah, when you're out of the clubs and you're going to like the Garden or Wembley or.
Okay, the first gig we did was the Toronto Maple Leafs, where the Toronto Maple Leafs play.
Okay.
And it was a big gig because they wanted to see if we could go from the theaters, where it was very intimate. You know, Billy would talk to the crowd, light up a cigarette before New York Cinema, if that could translate into an arena.
Right.
And fortunately, we were able to do it.
Which album were you up to? I'm sorry.
Oh, The Stranger. The Stranger got us into arenas. Yeah. Turnstiles was clubs and theaters.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. But, and then it wasn't until almost Stormfront that we started to play the stadiums.
So what was it like playing Shea Stadium or playing the Garden? If your hometown, when you do that for the first time, and that has to be just crazy.
You know, it's funny. I wanted to do this so badly when I was in school. You know, it was my dream that people wrote my yearbook. They wrote, keep your head together and one day you'll play Madison Square Garden. And you know, I loved Steve Winwood back when I was in high school. I loved the band Traffic. And somebody wrote in my yearbook, they said, keep your head together and one day you'll play with Steve Winwood. And he actually came and played on the Bridge album with us. And I showed him the yearbook.
That's so fabulous. That's so fabulous. Did your parents get to go see you play in a place like that?
Oh, yeah. My mom used to have two signs. One said on one side, oh no, she had a T-shirt. It said on the front, "My son is," and then on the back it said Billy Joel's drummer. And then she had another sign that said "Mom" that she would hold up while we were playing, so I knew where she was. But sometimes she held it upside down and it said "Wow." Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Did your father come around to? I mean, he got you your first kit, so obviously he wanted you to play.
Yeah, he came around. He was very, very proud of it. He used to come backstage, you know, and tell jokes. Everybody, you know, he was a riot.
That's just lovely. So okay, so how did you get into all of this? Little Kids Rock.
Little Kids Rock.
Little Kids Rock. How did that happen for you?
Little Kids Rock is the organization run by Dave Wish. I think you've met Dave. It goes into the schools where the music program has been taken out. It's the underprivileged schools, you know, like in Harlem and stuff like that. And if a kid becomes a member, they teach the actual teachers, to how to play like 3 chords on a guitar. And if they feel like if a kid learns 1 chord, if he learns an E chord, he can play like 25 songs. Seriously. And if he learns the 2nd chord in the progression, which is A, he's up to 50 songs. Then if he learns the B chord, which is the complete progression, the blues progression, he can 150 songs he can play. So, and you teach them what they want to learn, rather than taking them back to Beethoven and, you know.
I love that.
Yeah. So
as you teach them each chord, are they learning how to play the song that goes with the songs that go with that chord?
Yes, they are. And
so can you tell me a song that what can they play just from the E chord?
You can play a song called Tomorrow Never Knows. It's like 1 chord, the Beatles. Turn off your mind, relax, and hold on to him. Yeah.
That's
It's just
hysterical.
boom, 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 da-dum, boom, da-dum, you know.
That's hysterical. So
So
what brought you to that? Yeah.
if they stick with the lessons for a year, they get to keep the guitar that they were given.
Wow.
Yeah. The drummers get sticks, and there's drum sets for them to play. Yeah.
By the way, there's like a million people on this thread who said, I was at a certain gig and lived through a drumstick at me. Like everybody's telling me that you threw drumsticks at them.
Great.
Melanie Taylor, Melanie Taylor, the singer, she said she caught one of your drumsticks.
Yeah, I had a lawsuit with drumsticks once.
How come?
Because the woman said I split her, I pelted her with drumsticks.
Oh my God.
No, I never pelted anybody, but there was a lawsuit. She was suing for millions of dollars.
Oh my God. Did you? I hope you lost.
Oh, but the insurance company she probably got like 50 grand. She probably got beat up in the parking lot, and she said she got hit with drumsticks.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But they sue everybody when they sue. They don't just sue me. They sued me. They sued Billy. They sued Ron Delsner.
Oh my God.
Everybody.
Oh, yeah. And she had pictures of her with drumstick wounds?
No, her face, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So how did you do this Little Kids Rock? What made you become a part of this?
Well, when I was, I had been living back in New York again for about 2 years. And I got a phone call from Sabian. I was endorsing Sabian cymbals. And one of the guys from Sabian, Peter Stairs, called me up and he said, look, we support this organization called Little Kids Rock. It's brand new. And they're doing, there's a writer that's doing a magazine article about them in a Harlem school. They're up in Harlem. And if a celebrity shows up and is there, the article will be bigger. Would you go? I said, yeah, sure. And that was probably like 14 years ago that happened, and every year it kept getting bigger. Dave Wish started a Little Kids Rock in a school in LA, in the worst section of LA. And he had 20 kids that were part of Little Kids Rock. And just this past year, the 500,000th kid has gone through Little Kids Rock.
Oh,
500,000 kids, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I came to see you and Ricky doing a thing. Was that a Little Kids Rock thing? You were doing a concert and there were kids there. It was in like Orange County or something. Do you remember? I don't know what it was, but you and Ricky were doing something and there were amateurs and
yeah, we do this other thing, Camp Jam. We were doing that with kids.
Maybe that.
We also did this other charity in Washington, D.C. It's for kids, with cancer and stuff. We do a lot of that stuff.
I think it's wonderful that you do. So how did Clean Getaway? How did you guys start? I know Ricky started it, but what's that about and why do you do it?
Well, before he had Clean Getaway, we were playing one of these benefits. And we were doing sound check. Everybody else left the stage. Me and Ricky started to play some old R&B songs. Just me and Ricky. And after that, I said to him, we both live in New York. Why don't we start a band that does these R&B songs? So he called a bunch of his friends and people we knew, Christine Ullman and people like that. And we had started the NYC Hit Squad.
Right.
And then that kind of turned into Clean Getaway. But now with Clean Getaway, the difference is that Ricky writes the songs for Clean Getaway.
And in the Hit Squad, you're doing covers?
The Hit Squad was all covers, all R&B songs.
I actually saw you at what's the club in New York on the Upper West Side? I saw you guys at the Hit Squad.
The Iridium. You came
to Iridium, yes, exactly.
But Clean Getaway now, I mean, Ricky's doing amazing things. He got a program going now at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, where once a year we go and we play and we do all these songs about sobriety. And he's got some great people on it. He had Ganya Ravan, remember her from 10 Wheel Drive? She's sober for years, and she came up and sang. Kathy Valentine from the Go-Go's, sober, and we all played each other's songs.
Okay, so now tell everybody what the purpose of why Clean Getaway started. What is the purpose? What is the goal of Clean Getaway?
The goal of Clean Getaway is like, this is the deal. When you get sober, you're used to going out to clubs and hearing music and being in bars and listening to bands and stuff like that. A lot of people get sober and they don't want to do that. They're afraid to go to a bar and stuff like that. So Clean Getaway is the type of band that will play a concert with great musicians in it. Musicians from other bands who are all also sober, and we'll do concerts for people who just don't want to go to bars anymore, but still want to rock. That's what we do. Richie Supa has a recovery place that's based on music. And when the Lords played in Florida, we went to his place and we played for the people. It's a great thing because, people that go to bars and stuff like that, they get loaded and they start fights and they don't appreciate what's going on. But when you get somebody that's sober in the audience that knows what it's like to rock and now can see clearly, they appreciate it so much. That there's people that are actually doing this and doing it sober. And
also, the songs that Ricky writes are they're geared to that mindset, to that sober mindset.
Oh yeah, he writes great songs.
He really does.
He really does. He's really good, Ricky. I love Ricky.
So do I, and both you guys, and it's been a long time. I go back a long way. So you have you must have had a shit ton of gigs canceled. When COVID hit, how did your life must have blown up? I'm imagining.
Oh my God, our manager kept calling and going, I can't believe this. They're canceling gigs that are next month. They're canceling them already. It's like, what? Just next month? Wow! And then it kept going. Like, this gig is in August and they're canceling it, and this gig is in September and they're canceling it. Oh no! Now they're canceling New Year's Eve of 2020. Oh no! And it's like things are being pushed now into 2021.
So all right, so that's what I want to ask you. Like, do you have things on hold for 2021?
Yeah, a lot of stuff is being pushed.
When's your first hold gig?
What?
When's your first hold gig scheduled for?
I got to look at my calendar.
Approximately.
Well, I have a hold. Well, I got some gigs that are still on. They haven't canceled them yet.
For when?
Which is weird because one's in a restaurant, like in New Hope, Pennsylvania.
When?
It's October.
This fall.
This fall.
And the odds that that's going to happen are slim to none. Yeah. But other things they're getting rebooked, or they're getting rebooked on hold. How is it working?
Oh, getting rebooked into the next year. Like we have gigs in Florida for February. Hopefully something will happen that those will happen. They're in theaters.
I mean, what's your real thought on that? Do you think you're going to get to do that in February? Do you think we're going to be at that place?
Well, I think outdoor gigs have a better chance of actually being done than indoor gigs.
Yeah.
Because, you're outside, fresh, the air.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I really don't know.
So what do you do in the meantime? So you're doing some drive-in gigs, and I'm sure there's going to be more and more of those now that they're finding out that works. I'm sure the promoters will start ramping those up, I'm guessing. Yeah. Do you have a bunch of those, or are those just brand new starting?
Well, this is brand new starting. This is I had heard about this like about a month or 6 weeks after this whole shutdown happened. They said that they were going to try to do this thing, and now it's becoming a reality that they're actually going to do it. So that's really cool. But as far as playing inside, I don't think that's going to happen for a long time.
I mean, I just heard that James Taylor and Bonnie Raitt had pushed their tour back to September of 2020, maybe 22. They pushed it way back.
Yeah, that's what's happening because with a big tour like that, it takes a lot. You got to book the venue, you got to get the right days, you got to hire trucks, sound, and all kinds of stuff like that. So it takes a lot to plan it. So that's the safe thing to do, is to wait. But
so how do you? It's one day at a time, as it is, we know, with everything. How do you like? Are you okay financially that you can sit this out? What else can you do?
Well, I'm really lucky that my wife still is working, working from home.
And she's got a good.
She's doing well, I mean, we're in this apartment, the three of us. It's crazy. We said today, we took a walk together, and we said today, we haven't been in the apartment this long ever before, just, it's it's crazy. But, yeah, but what really saved me in this whole thing? When it first came down, the virus first happened, we were in the process of editing the book. I mean, we had big plans of doing a
book tour.
Huh?
A book tour.
Yeah, book tour, but starting the book release at the cutting room. The band was going to play. It was going to be a big party and everything. But
I had those when my book came out. I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that
Korchmar played at my book release.
Oh yeah. Wow. But the book has kept me busy, because then we had to go through all the editing, then we had to go through all the pictures, and now with the press, it's like cuckoo. I'm doing something every day.
That's a really good thing, that you're able to do these kind of things and promote liberty, life, and Billy and the Pursuit of Happiness, and everybody. It's available, so they can get this on Amazon, and they can, so that's really great that you have this ability to still promote it, and at least, and if you did so incredible, maybe because you have a captive audience and everybody's online all the time, it might have helped, right?
Well,
maybe.
It definitely, people, they're not going out, they're not going to movies, so they're reading.
Yeah.
They're reading. If they go to the beach and they social distance, they're sitting in a chair. What are they doing? They're reading.
Absolutely. And summer is the best time for books.
Yeah.
Best time.
Yeah. So I've been very fortunate that way. And like you don't see the money for a long time, but
maybe ever, if you're a person like me. No, little bit. To get rich on a book, you got to be Michelle Obama, I think. But
yeah. I mean, they say like a bestseller, New York Times bestseller, it's 10,000 books it takes to get on that list.
Right.
It's like, and you think you sold, I've sold thousands of books, but I'm not close to the New York Times bestseller yet,
Right. But it's doing great. You're doing great. So now, how did you become a writer, Liberty? What prepared you? And did you have any help with this? Because I think I read something.
I had an editor, like the drum part, after every chapter, there's something about my drums. That was one chapter. And the editor said, we should split that up and put it after every other chapter, because it's the longest chapter in the book. So it might be cool if it always goes back to that.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, which really, really worked out well. But, it's really weird when I think about it. I never took lessons on the drums. I don't know how to read music, don't know how to write music, but I played with one of the biggest single artists ever.
Yeah.
I barely made it out of high school, and I just wrote a book. It's
fantastic. It's fantastic. You've really maximized all of your gifts. It's wonderful. Yeah, and it's a really fun book. It's a really fun read. You're a good writer. It's fun.
Well, it's not about drums, not just about drums.
It's mostly about your family stuff is just insane. Your family is wacky.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, a lot of wacky. Liberty, thank you so much for doing this. I always love talking to you. and I can't wait to see you play live again. It's been the last time I saw you play live, you guys were backing up. Oh God, what's that pop singer's name? Oh my God, it was at LA Live. Who was that? It was not Richard Marx. Was it Richard Marx?
Yeah.
It was not. Was it?
No. It was.
What's his name? Oh shit. He's really famous.
Jesse's girl. Jesse's girl.
Yeah. What's his name? Oh God, I can't think of his. Oh, this is really. We are so old. I can't think of his name. And God, oh God, now I have to look him up because now I can't think of his name. All right, wait a minute. Keep talking, and I'm going to look up his name.
Jesse's girl.
Yeah, who the hell was it?
Jesse's girl. A B C D E F G.
Oh God, it's not even. It didn't even come up on my thing. Wait. Oh, this is so pathetic.
Right. Jesse's girl.
Rick Springfield. I didn't even find it. I just remembered.
There you go.
That's my thing at this age is that I forget. And about a year ago, if I would forget, I would have to Google eventually because I would go and say and I couldn't come up with it. But now I'm taking these supplements that help your brain. And now if I wait like 2-3 minutes, it'll come.
Well, I'll tell you what, the supplements might not be helping your brain, but your hair looks terrific.
Hey, that's another thing about this whole COVID thing. Like, what's Anna doing about that? Has she gone to the salon? Has she gotten a haircut?
Paulie, her hairdresser, comes to her and wears the mask and, outside, and they cut her hair.
I couldn't talk my hairdresser into it, so I went 4 months without a haircut or without color, and I was like getting really creative how I was standing, so you couldn't tell that I had a whole yarmulke of hair up here. Oh, God, it was awful. It was awful. Well, you don't have to worry about such things. Somebody's saying they want your hat. It's Charlie Flotter. Do you remember George Flotter?
Yeah.
His son Charlie, who's actually an actor and a wonderful actor, is on here and going, "Liv's a legend, and I want that hat." I haven't been reading the comments and the questions because I've been monopolizing you, but I'll go back and I'll read them after the show. And if there's something that somebody wants an answer to, I'll tag you on it so you can answer their question. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much for doing this. I adore you. You're not only one of my favorite people, but you seriously are one of the greatest drummers alive that has ever played rock and roll. And I have watched you kick some of your heroes' ass live. And, it's all good things to you. I'm so thrilled that your book, Liberty, Life, Billy, and the Pursuit of Happiness is a bestseller. And who knows, maybe you'll get that New York Times bestseller list.
That would be nice. That would be nice. And, if you're ever around and you hear we're playing somewhere, you just come.
I cannot wait for that day. I can't wait for that day. My love to Anna and to your girls. And stay safe and stay healthy. I adore you.
And when you come to Williamsburg, when this lifts and you go visit your daughter, let me know.
I definitely will. We'll go eat pizza.
There you go. All right, girl.
I love you, Liberty. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.